I got a degree for commercial art, which is, at the time, it's like web design or making magazine pages or logos, things like that. Any kind of print media. I went ahead and got like I was working at REI at the time, and not really doing anything. Just just
letting time pass
just
by.
letting I did like I like the outdoors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it was something that was cool, but it was definitely like not where I should have been. I mean, but yeah. So at REI, I had I one of the people I worked with actually was interning at an ad agency at the time, called Secola Martin. They're like the second biggest or something like that. I can't remember, but and she was like, "Hey, you graduated with a degree in art. Why don't you try to do this? Try to do an internship. They're opening up." And I was like, "Sure, let me try it." And I got it.
So you got the internship where she worked as well?
Yeah,
Okay,
where she
cool.
worked. She had done it like it's usually there's like I don't know the length of time, but like she had done the whatever
The internship
the
course.
internship course.
Okay.
And so she had done it. And she said it was great. You should give it a go. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And my mom at the time was like, you got to do something else. You can't be working at a bike shop forever. And she's right. Listen to your mom, guys.
Did the girl who moms know what's
yeah,
up?
it might hurt, but it's just
At the time when the girl told you about the internship, did she continue working in there? Because you met her at the shop.
at
REI.
REI. Yeah.
So was she still working for them, or did she do the internship and then she just kind of stopped and did something else?
Yeah, she stopped and she kind of like she was continuing to work at REI, so she kind of worked both things.
Okay.
Where and I don't know if she was going to school at the time also, or
but that's cool. She still hooked you up with saying like, "Hey, you should try this out."
Yeah,
that's
it was
awesome.
very, very cool. Like it's one of those things. Like I think somebody's kind of like watching after you, kind of being like, "Hey."
When you think about it, you working at REI, it was like that was the moment.
Exactly.
Like you had to be there at that right time for her to inspire you to do that.
Yeah.
So it all works out, man.
Yeah,
all those
exactly.
experiences.
And so, yeah, when did that, and it was a blast. Like you got to learn. It was very. You ever watch Mad Men?
Yeah, of course. Who hasn't watched MADMEN? It was like the biggest show.
So I mean, of course, minus like the super duper sexism and like
Well, I think that was how it was back then.
Yeah,
very much so.
But
in the workforce,
at the ad agency, it was very much that kind of like you had that feeling of creativity and just and things are happening and you've got these big clients and it was very exciting. And everybody was really cool, but you had the writers, and the art directors and all that stuff, and it was very, very cool. Like there was a definite like energy to that kind of lifestyle, but I realized that print was not for me. Because it just
why wasn't it not for you? What was it about print? Was it the long hours? Was it
no? I'm okay.
The
with
work
long hours.
changed too frequently, or maybe the work stayed the same because you have certain clients. Like what was it that made it where you knew this wasn't?
I think it has to do more with the. It just wasn't for me as far as like having to go to like printers and like go and see. You have to have the exact. If you want Coca-Cola red, it has to be like perfectly Coca-Cola red, and you have to make sure there's so many things that are kind of like in that way that can be cool also, like because it's kind of neat. You're like going out and meeting the printers and you're actually making all these things or working with logos and going iterations and all this stuff. But at the time, it just wasn't speaking to me. I was just like, no, this is not quite right, So I had the opportunity to actually move on to like doing more stuff with them, because if you do well enough, they'll invite you over, and you can either I don't know what they'd have for me, but you can also be like the head of the interns and kind of like.
So it sounds like it's a definite work your way up the ladder type of thing.
It's
even starting at the internship.
Yeah, you kind of like. You start out. It's almost like you start out at the mailroom, and then you slowly meet
end up being
people,
the CEO.
Yeah, exactly, or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the thing, and it just wasn't working for me. So I said thank you, and then